Hey guys, my name is Deb Oliveira. I'm the owner of Oliveira Multimedia. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire life. I was raised by entrepreneur parents. I was a homeschool kid, so I was very much involved in their business and the processes like my entire upbringing. I graduated a year early from high school so that I could start my first business by the time I was 17. I grew that company until 2021 at its absolute height. I had closed it down after I lost my daughter and just kind of took a step back and reevaluated life a little bit. The one thing that I knew within that company that I did really, really well is I created a system that we were able to duplicate over and over and over again and see the same kind of results over and over and over again. This is the exact same system that I've been able to coach my own clients on throughout the years, and they've been able to see those exact same results that I created initially, which is exactly what I'm going to be teaching you guys throughout this entire masterclass. But first, I want to get started on how marketing is completely useless if you don't already have certain things in place. And I'm just going to give you the bullet point right here. Like, the main idea is, if you don't already have a solid business in place and a solid system in place, your marketing is useless. So even if you get marketing in, like you get new clients in and your marketing is working, you're not going to sustain those clients or those customers, because if your system isn't in place, if there are hiccups throughout the process and they don't absolutely love their experience and love their product, they're going to tell others about that. So yes, your marketing can work and you can get people to your business, and that can be successful and awesome and amazing. It's not sustainable if you don't have the foundation in place. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is that foundational piece and what that's going to look like. And we're going to kind of break that down a little bit so that your business is set up so that when you do start your marketing, your business is set up for success. So let's get to it. It's so easy to get hungry in business where you're like, I need clients and I need them now. I need customers and I need them now. So I'm going to dive right in and start marketing even if I don't have things in place, because I'm hungry for more in my business and I want to grow. But you need to kind of pause if you want sustainability. So the number one thing that you want to ask yourself is my product or service ready for expansion? So what does that mean? That means from the moment that someone contacts me to the end, is my product and my process satisfactory? Because remember, people talk, right? If they don't love their experience from the start to end, and hiccups are sometimes okay, not everything is going to always be 100% perfect, but if you have a subpar product or a subpar, service, it's not going to be sustainable, okay? So I want you to go back to the drawing board, back to the basics, and make sure that the service that you're offering is worth repeating, worth the word of mouth. You cannot have a subpar product or service in this, environment of, let's call it economy right now, which also, that's going to be something else that I would love to get into, is the excuse of, well, the economy right now, and that's why I'm not getting sales. There's a little bit of truth in there, but for the most part, no. People are still spending money in places. You just want to make sure that they're spending with you and give them a reason to spend with you. Number two, and this kind of goes with number one. So customers are the reason why you're in business. What is the customer's experience? So even if you need to have a case study and ask a few people to go through your process, even with your team, where your team doesn't know that they are a guinea pig going through your process, making sure that the entire experience is satisfactory. So if you want to ask a couple people to be like, hey, can I have you be a guinea pig for my company? I want you to go on the website and I want you to book. Or unless you're like us, where we don't have a website that you can book, email. Like, what is that process like? What is the preparation? Letting people know like what they can expect from their time with you, whether that's service, or if you have a store. Like, for the most part, my niche is service-based industry. I've worked with product-based. For the most part, everything I talk about is going to be service-based, okay? So what is their experience from start to finish? Have a few people be the guinea pig. that can tell you where the hiccups are. Because as we know, that if someone has like the most amazing experience with your company, they're going to tell other people about it. The Swifties know this one, right? It's your reputation. So reputation, people, once again, they talk. So if they're coming into your business and they have a bad experience, that is going to tarnish your reputation. If you have a team that is talking bad about the owner, you're gonna have a bad reputation. If you have products that you have made these promises and you don't meet those, bad reputation. So this goes back to number one, the experience that your customers or your clients have with you matters. Like, they are the reason why you're in business, and you need to make sure that their experience from start to finish is absolutely stellar and amazing. And like I said, it's not gonna be perfect. I will be the first one to admit that life happens and things are not always perfect. But the best that we can do is try. Nobody likes to feel confused, which leads us to our next one. Making sure that you set clear expectations. And sometimes clients and customers are not actually going to read everything that you send them. So even if you set clear expectations on your website or in an email, doesn't mean that they're always going to read them. But point being is that you try, at least, to set clear expectations with your team, with your clients, with your customers. Line it out, right? Like, write it out. If you have a service-based business like we do, we have photo shoot prep that goes out for our clients, and we list it out, and we even have it in bold letters, like, please click this link, so that you can read what to expect from your photo shoot and what to expect after, like from the timeline of even going before they contacted us. Like, you contacted us, awesome, now let's set your date and let's send you photo shoot prep, and then from there, like, reminding them of their shoot, and then making sure that their experience with us at a photo shoot is like stellar and that they feel amazing when they walk away. Then after that, thanking them for their shoot. We send them their photos, and then they get to pick which ones that they want edited. They let us know. We get them into editing, and then we thank them at the end. We list all of that out, letting them know what they can expect, because the moment that they have to ask us a question, we already haven't answered something. And once again, we still get questions of things that we've already answered, because not everyone reads everything. Now let's talk about your marketing budget. So oftentimes people want to go DIY with their business and do it all on their own. If you are watching this, there's a really good chance that you have already surpassed that point. You might be in the point of being 100,000 to 500,000. If you're more at that 100,000, there's a good chance that your marketing budget is pretty small. So you have to be very cautious on every little dollar that you spend within your marketing. There's a couple things that I want to tell you. Number one is that marketing is not cheap, and it doesn't happen overnight. So when you have a marketing budget that's a little bit smaller, like, that's okay, it's still doable, and that's awesome. Like, you've worked so hard to get to this point. Even a small marketing budget is something, and that's amazing. You want to make sure that you are strategically spending that money, right? And that's going to be different for every single industry. Oftentimes, I see businesses with smaller marketing budgets give up too soon. They often will give up within the first 3 months of their marketing strategy with a marketing company, or even if they're doing it on their own. Like, they often will jump ship within 3 months, and that is not enough time to see sustainable growth. The first 3 months of a marketing strategy is really gathering that data. It's implementing new things, it's tweaking this, try this. It's really working off of the data and seeing what needs to be done over 6 months. So you really start to see a shift between that 3 to 6 months. But most drop off and get frustrated within that 3 months because they don't see an overnight success. And as we all know, everyone's overnight success is 15 years of hard work, right? So 3 months is too little. 6 months is when you're going to start seeing a little bit of return, but oh my goodness, if you can stick with your marketing budget for a year, that is where you're going to see the success. You have to stick with it and work with a marketing agency that is willing to have that one-on-one and actually care about the success of your business. Because so often we deal with marketing agencies that just kind of check you off a list, right? And they say that it's done, we're good. We scheduled out your social media, but they don't actually look at the data and analyze your audience to know how to attract your audience, because every audience is going to be different. Every audience needs to be talked to in a different way. So make sure that when you are spending your marketing dollars, that you're working with an agency that is going to change and adapt things based off of your data, your analytics. A major thing as well is being willing to adapt. So often in business, we just want to cling on to our business and we don't want to change and we don't want to adapt because this is just how we do things. We saw what that did on a large, massive level to companies like Sears and JCPenney's. It doesn't work. In order to have a strong business, you have to be willing to listen to your audience and be willing to adapt. So if they're saying, hey, we love this product, but we want to see it in this color. And you're like, well, too bad, like we don't provide that color. You're not listening. Your audience is willingly telling you what they want. You need to adapt. And it doesn't mean that we have to jump ship on everything and try every new thing. No, that doesn't mean that, but it doesn't mean that we need to be listening to our audience and being willing to adapt when times change. We all went through a pandemic, right? And my last point is that your team is the reason why you're in business. Yes, so are your clients. They are the reason why you get to still be in business. They are the reason why you get to live this life. And we'll get into that a little bit more, how your business is the tool that allows you to live your life and not be the anchor. So often we get stuck with our businesses being the anchors. Your team is the reason why you get to live this life. Oftentimes we'll see business owners be so stretched thin that they aren't listening to their team, that they're not including their team on the growth, that they won't even compensate properly their team when their team is the one on the front lines doing the work with the clients. Make sure that you are communicating and compensating your team adequately. This is something that I know personally I've had to grow and learn in as I've grown as an owner, and honestly no one has told me this one. This is something that I learned from only one other business owner, because I saw how solid their team was. And it's because the owner honestly put the team before himself. And his team, they will bat for him. Like they support him in such an incredible way that it's beautiful, okay? What can happen within your business if you are communicating things to your team, that you are allowing them in on strategy, that you are allowing them in on the growth? Like, it's incredible. Make sure that you include your team. Now last, here's the checklist to make sure that your business is marketing ready. Are your products or services up to industry standards? Do you have it clearly outlined, the expectations for your clients or customers, what they can expect working with you? Do you have a clear mission statement? Do you have a team that is capable of supporting your business through its growth? And if you don't, do you have a plan in place to be able to quickly hire more people? And do you have a training structure in place to be able to onboard them? Do you have an onboarding process? Your team is your key players. And then, do you have a clear sales process? Please note that nothing has to be perfect, okay? Nothing is going to be perfect. The point being is that we are trying to improve our businesses, that we are trying to do our absolute best, and that we can give our clients and customers the best experience possible, and that we have plans and processes in order, and that also includes your finances. Make sure that you are working with a solid bookkeeper that is going to keep your books clear and compliant, because when your business grows, you're going to need those numbers to be solid. Like, these are just a handful of things that create the foundation of your company, and make sure that these are in place first before you start a large marketing campaign. So if you are within that $500,000 range, you have a little bit more money to play with when it comes to your marketing. Make sure that you're working with a company that actually cares about your success and that they're willing to work on your data, your analytics. If you are within that $100,000 range, know that you don't have to bootstrap the entire way. You can go to your bank and ask for a small business loan. Make sure that when you do that you are giving them a solid plan on, here's how I'm going to use this money to make sure that I have an ROI. All right, guys, that's it for today. My name is Deb Oliveira. I am the owner and CEO at Oliveira Multimedia.